All right, what's going on YouTube? This is Sam Schreiber, aka Dank Memes. Starting a new series on the channel here where I'm gonna be kind of profiling a deck that I got, just in the catalog here. I got lots of stuff kind of cooking up on the sides, and so do like a little deck profile, and then the idea is we take the deck, enter it into the Speed Duel Showdown tournament series on Dueling Book, see how we do, and then, post the replays, do a quick kind of post mortem on the tournament, and talk about things that worked and this didn't work, and how we fix the deck up going forward. So this is first episode here. So to show where we are today, it's July 26th, 3:20 p.m. I'm Pacific time, so the next Speed Duel Showdown here starts in about 40 minutes, I think. If I see here, yeah. So just a little over half an hour. We got 7 players already signed up, so I'll probably be number 8 here. But I wanted to kind of show the deck that I'm going to bring today, which is a deck that I am decently well known for on the Discord server, but one that I don't often bring to an actual competitive event because it's kind of more for fun. And that deck is the Heart of a Warrior Heart of a Warrior Carboneton deck. So the skill that we run here is the punch it in for the skills. It's Heart of a Warrior, so that's the skill. Just heal limit 2, generic discard to summon a kind of vanilla warrior fusion monster from the extra deck, and then you pair that generic discard skill with Carboneton primarily. Carboneton's a great card because you can banish it to bring out a free body from the main deck. So the idea here is you have 6 copies of the Carbo, 2 vanillas. So on turn 1, you just immediately go +1, and then you pair that really consistent kind of 2-body board with a bunch of really strong back row. What's great about Carboneton and the monster it summons that they pair very nicely with Champion's Vigilance, which is a generic counter trap. It's basically like a Solemn Warning or a Omni Negate in a single counter trap. And then you also have Divine Wrath, which is a good option because you can pair that again with Carbo as your discard. Also, for the limit 3 options, I'm toying with this still, but right now it's looking like 2 copies of Tribe Infecting Virus and 1 copy of Book of Moon. Tribe is just a really good, it's like one of the best limit 3s right there, especially given like Amazonas is monotype, Gravekeepers is monotype. I can just clear a board. And then you dump Carbo with it, of course, so that's the synergy. But 3 might be overkill versus book. I also was thinking about just like run a Wall Disruption, run a Quaking, run a Cosmic Cyclone even. I think Twister is probably just as good though as Cosmic in the main deck. I think I'll just leave it like this for today. And then we got a Swords of Revealing Light. I think that's a really strong contender for the limit 1 slot because it just stalls out Amazonas, and that's the biggest threat. And then over in the side deck, this is still pretty in flux, and thinking about it some more, I know that in the Speed Duel Showdowns, you get a lot of just kind of random BS, including a lot of cheeky OTK decks. And so I'm thinking something like a Mind Crush might be good instead of the Malcat. Put that in maybe. If the Gaia decks come, this hits the Gaia. If the Gaia Vanilla deck comes, yeah, Mind Crush is alright. I mean, if they summon a resort for it, then I can just make them discard their hand. Shield Crush. I'm gonna replace a Shield Crush with a Lost Wind. I think that's just even more protection. I'll try that out. And then I run the 1 Dino in the side just because you can search it with the Fossil Dig. So like this is good for Cyber Angels if someone brings that. But yeah, we got Curse Anubis in the main deck. That's good because all my stuff are non-effect monsters. So my guys stay in attack, theirs could switch to defense. And yeah, we're gonna kind of take this deck for a spin. I'm gonna lock it in right now. So, I'm gonna play the tournament and then I'll come back to y'all after the tournament. We'll talk through the replays and just do a kind of retrospective on it. So see you guys in a little bit. All right, guys. So just scrubbed out of the tournament. Actually freaking got destroyed in round 1, which is unfortunate. I'll show you guys the replay here in a sec, but I don't blame the deck, I blame the luck, and you'll see why in a second here. So let's check out the replay. Actually, before I even jump in, let me close that. I did make one edit to the list before I fired, so I wasn't super happy with the Twister in main deck. It seemed like this is very good against Amazonas and Gravekeepers, and especially like Gravekeepers kind of shuts down the entire premise of the deck with Necro Valley, but was expecting to see those decks today, so I just moved that card to the side and just put a more generic Dust Tornado in the main. So that was just a quick hot swap. But yeah, let me get to the replay, and you guys will see why this was kind of just not my day today. So I'm going up against a, actually, let's see if we can get the reveal here. So it's a Yami Yugi deck. At the start of the duel, flip this card over. You see that, you immediately think it's Dark Magician. Like, that's what the skill has to be. And sure enough, we see the flip. The skill is DM. Let me get both hands on screen. So he's opening Mirror Wall, Pre-Mat, Dark Magician Girl, and then the very insane one of Magic Karibo. This is the card that makes the deck work. He opens it, 30 card list, by the way, so he's maxed out, and he draws the one of, so it was just not my day. My opening was Divine Wrath, Fossil Dig, Carbo, and Vigilance. This is actually a pretty strong opening, going first or second. You have, you know, access to the quote-unquote engine of getting that vanilla monster out, 2 counter traps, and I actually have dupes, which is great, because then the Divine Wrath discard becomes live for a second special summon on the following turn. So this was an amazing hand. He won the RPS and chose to go first, just setting 1 and passing. Insane. Like, this would lose. This setup would absolutely get smoked if this card was anything besides Magic Rebo. But anyway, let's see what happens. So he goes set 2 pass. I do the full combo, dig into Carbo. Carbo pitch for Guilty into HOAW. Let me pause here. So you go Hio's Onryu here because in DM, you know, 2500 attack on the Dark Magician, and so they have to get the Thousand Knives to out this body. And it puts them in a pretty tough position because they only get 1 search per duel, and normally they're searching the Magic Revo because that's like the only way this deck can get any longevity out of it. So it's a trade-off between a Magic Karibo and Thousand Knives, puts them in a tough position, and then we have the protection for the Thousand Knives anyway, and Shaman's Vigilance, so like, this card would wall off the opponent most of the time, and you'll see in this duel it does actually wall them off pretty well. So I poke for 1850, he of course goes Magic Rebo, and I'm just like, they always have it, and they sure do always have it. When I played at WCQ, I think in half of my duels against Dark Magician, they also opened the one of Magic Rebo. Those were 20 to 22 card lists, so it's less ridiculous, but I mean, like, what the heck is that, man? But anyway, so their hands completely bricks, the set card's a brick, they have 1 Mirror Wall and a body on board. Still feeling pretty good about it. They search Dark Magic Attack. I, of course, immediately negate that with Champion's Vigilance. And then he's going to poke me, and I'm thinking here about booking it, but I went for the HOAW, which means I don't have a monster that can get over 2100 defense. So I decided to just sit on the Book of Moon, figure out, set up Carbonet on next turn, and then, you know, I'll have that bigger attack body on board that I can use to swing over Dark Magician later. So he outs me, I let it happen, I go Fossil Dig, add the 3rd Carbo, so now I think that's all the Carbos in circulation. Yeah, there's the 1, 2, 3. 3rd copy's dead, but I mean, it's just what you have to do for consistency. Here's the bigger body that can now swing over DM with the Book of Moon. I just wait it out, pass a turn. He's going to normal summon Breaker. I'm going to negate the Breaker with Divine Wrath. And then here is where I finally pop that Book of Moon. So now I feel like tempo's on my side. As long as none of these cards are battle traps, I just win the duel. Unfortunately, we got a Mirror Wall, so we'll see what happens. Playing around, Quaking Mirror Force, as well as wanting to keep the big body in defense, so I have the blocker still. He does have the mirror wall, so I just take damage and nothing happens. He Night Beams the bluff set, and then pops over my one monster that can beat over him in defense. That's unfortunate. So now we're just kind of passing. I draw a Vigilance. He has more bricks. He's not doing anything but passing turn here. So we'll just speed through it. Swords, Curse of Anubis, another Vigilance. I negate that. I let him pop that Vigilance, not sure what he wanted to do with it. Now we've progressed a little bit. So he's got 2 bodies on board. He's got a bunch of bricks in hand, a Sphere Karibo. I have 2 Curse of Anubis, which is a really good trap in a lot of matchups, but it does nothing against DM. So I just leave it in my hand. And remember, I'm on double Tribe Infecting Virus here. Tribe isn't out to this board, and like his Magic Creep was in Graveyard. He's on 2150. That's unfortunate because then I can't one shot with HOAW. But the thinking is like I got two Tribe in deck, 2 discards in hand. He's got basically nothing, and so I'm thinking, well, I'll just pop once. Or summon 1 tribe, do a board wipe, poke for damage with the tribe. He'll then, do his Magic Rebo stuff, get a second DM out, kill my first tribe. I'll then top deck the second tribe and do the same play again, and then the second time it'll be enough for game, because he's only at 2150. Fortunately, he does have that 1 interrupt. So again, like, if I had just, seen the Tribe Infecting Virus not in my bottom 3 cards, this duel would have been over because he just wouldn't have had the Sphere Karibo in hand. But so this is what happens. I do a tribe, I clear his board, he does the Magic Karibo loop, I try to swing, Sphere Karibo. And so now I know I've lost because I'm just out of gas. He Night Beams my bluff, beats over me. I top deck, it's going to be useless. I go for the play one last time, knowing that I've lost, and icing on the cake, I get info. The last card was a Quaking Mirror Force. So we're going to game 2 now, and here the opening is just look at it, man. Dark Vision Girl, Sphere Karibo, Dark Magic Attack, just whoever engine pieces, but then the Magic Karibo again. So back-to-back duels and 30 cards. He sees the one of. You're never expecting that, right? Like even in 20 cards, you always have to play this matchup assuming they don't have it because. You just can't let them, when their board is open, which it always will be if they go first, you have to just capitalize on that and swing for damage, because it puts them in tougher positions later in the duel. But they got it, so we'll see how this one plays out. He's just setting a bluff and passing, so there's really no threat here. When DM sets, it's almost always a bluff. I did see the Quaking and the Mirror Wall, so like, maybe they have some traps in their deck, but even in this situation, I'm like 50% chance that's a bluff, and even if it is like a Quaking Mirror Force, I don't care if they're Quaking me turn 1. So I'm going to play like that card doesn't exist, I'll play like this card doesn't exist, and so we'll see. I just go full combo here, and my hand, by the way, again, really, really strong. It's double Carbo with a Mind Crush, so if I Mind Crush something wrong, at least I have a plus off the discard. I got a Lost Wind, which is in theory good against DM because if you time the use of it right, you can just get that extra bit of chip damage where 1850, 1850, and then you need something else to get that last little bit. And so this helps just to make the math work out. Also, if it's attack versus attack position, I can just like out it with a one of my bigger vanillas. And then last card against the counter trap. So this is again like a very, very strong hand. I'm opening fantastic. He's just opening a little bit better. So full combo, ring out the bodies, again go the Hyozanryu because, in the odds that he actually does have the Magic Repo, I just need to have a body. But my thinking here, by the way, is I set all 3 of my back row, and I don't believe I saw a Summoner's Art last duel. He might have played one, but I'm thinking in a 30-card deck where he probably doesn't have Magic Repo, he probably doesn't have a Summoner's Art, I'm thinking standby phase, Mind Crush, called Dark Magician, and I just win the duel immediately. So I'm just going to set this and shotgun it. That's the thinking. We'll see what happens. He has the Magic Rebo, so now that plan's completely out the window. I'm going to need this Mind Crush to either stop the loop on Magi, or maybe he's going to like search a DMA, and I just use the DMA, use this to stop the DMA. I have a Vigilance, which also stops DMA. I want to save the Vigilance just in case he opens the Thousand Knives to protect the HOAW, so that's an important thing to keep in mind. But yeah, Mind Crush, it went from the most valuable card in my hand to like arguably the least valuable card in my hand. So he opens some protection. He reveals that he had actually set the bluff DMA, so that I just Vigilance negate that one. So now the Mind Crush will have to be for the second DMA, which I know he has. There it is. And so now I stop that. So I still have Lost Wind, which gives me some extra chip damage and gets rid of the body. He has a Mirror Wall and a Sphere Creepo. So he's actually, this game, he's looking a lot stronger than he did game one. He's got multiple pieces of protection, as well as the Magic Creeper in rotation, which he didn't even have. He had at most one piece of protection last game. I just couldn't get over the DM. So here I'm thinking, when he attacks, do I use a Lost Wind now, or do I hold it for later? And I was thinking, actually, I don't really know this player, and I'm like, he's been typing like mainly declaring his obvious effects in chat all the time. So I'm like, maybe if I Lost Wind, he'll forget that he can use both effects of Magic Creepo in the same turn, and I can actually just get a leg up and swing for game. So the thinking was, let's just use a Lost Wind now. Let's get rid of the body. Maybe he'll add the Magic Creepo back, but then forget to discard it, and then I can just pile on the next turn. And lo and behold, that's actually exactly what happened. So he loses his DM, he adds back Magi, and then he just passes. So again, he could have used this, brought out another body, and dealt with me, and then I'm in the same position I was before. But instead, I'm now like in a really good spot because he's one shot, and I got potentially 3 attacks coming in his face. Now, I'm glad I played out game one because I saw the quaking. So now, he revealed the bluff previously. Now I'm thinking this is probably not a bluff. It's either mirror wall or quaking. And I need to make sure that I don't just like swing into a quaking and just brick myself. So I am going to go ahead and bring out a third body, discarding another copy of Carboneton. And to play around the quaking, I decide to leave one of my monsters in defense. The thinking here with the HOAW in attack versus the Guilty in defense, that's probably just a misplay. I probably should have just kept HOAWs on Ryu in defense, to be honest. But the thinking was, if it's quaking, then at least HOAWs in defense, either way. But looking back on it, probably should have been these two in attack, and this guy just stays in defense. That way it's always face up, and the counter traps will always be live. But anyway, so I switch this guy to attack, got the set Book of Moon, and I'm going up against a Mirror Wall and a Sphere Creepo, so he's definitely not dying this turn. He decides to go Mirror Wall first, so that the damage hits, then he can bring out the Magic Karibo. So that's one way to play around it. That was the only card that gets him the DM back in rotation, so it was just lucky sequence for him. So that comes out. Mirror Wall has to go to grave, and now he top decks more protection, so this guy is just cooking in his 30 card list. He's drawing all the right cards and all the right sequences. Here I decide to use my Book of Moon to protect the HOAW. Again, the thinking is I'm going to have to stall this game out until I draw Tribe, because that's my only out at this point, is just like Tribe, swing for game. So I got to keep the HOAW as a blocker so that he doesn't just break my board. The other plays, I could have kept the Book of Moon until I may be able to bring out the Serpent Night Dragon, and that's another option, but I figured this was safer. So he takes more damage. Now he's like really low, and I'm thinking, great, I can just like one-shot this guy. If he like summons a breaker and pops something, HOAW over breaker is game, for example. But now we're just passing back and forth. I'm drawing bricks, he's drawing bricks. I then remembered, I forgot that the previous turn, I actually sided in a Hyper Hammerhead, which is also sneakily pretty good in this position. So I can use it offensively or defensively. If I use it offensively, I can crash into it, bounce it, and then I set up 2 bodies to swing for game. If I use it defensively, it's the same thing, but then I get to summon an extra body, so I get 3 chances of swinging for game. I know he's on Sphere Creebos, and you can see he has 2 in hand, so my thinking was I'll set, get the bounce back, summon out 3 bodies, and then as long as the set card is not exactly Quaking Mirror Force, um, or he has like 3 spheres in hand, I kind of have to win. That's not what happens, of course, so I bounce him back to hand, and then I go for the summon. I got a unlucky top deck there. But now it's 3 bodies on an empty board. I don't want to lose to Quaking, so I again leave the HOAW in defense. Or oh no, I switched this one to attack. Here the thinking, I guess, was if this gets Quaking, it's Quaking, nothing really matters. But I keep 1 in defense, so I still have the ability to change battle positions. And then Quaking, so they all go face down, and now I'm like, great, so he's just gonna summon a DM, and we're back in the same stalemate we were in before. So another piece of protection top deck, which is great for him. I lose my Serpent Night Dragon. Here I draw the tribe, so I'm like, great, I get another shot at this. And it's met with, I believe, the sphere. Yep. So we keep going. Draw a bluff. I let him just destroy my monsters that are flipped anyway. Here I draw the tribe, and I want to hold it now until I get extra protection, so I can like summon it, pop something, he cycles stuff, or spheres me, or whatever the fuck he does. But I at least still have another turn to use it. Of course, this does lose to Quaking, but I'm going to go for it anyway because I just don't care anymore. So summon, pop, battle phase, swing. He chooses to sphere, which is probably a misplay. If he just Quakings, he knows he wins, because I think he saw my last limit 3 card was the book. So if he just Quakings there, he knows I doesn't have anything else, but whatever. So I get another roll of this, and then again, look at the perfect sequencing. I activate swords, and then he top decks the breaker right then. And that's, I think, a 2 of in 14 cards, and he just happens to see it at exactly the right time. So game was not in my favor. Normal summons, and here I know I've lost. I just want to make sure he doesn't fuck up the sequence, which he doesn't. Double pop, I draw a card, just want to play it out, and then he walls me. So that's the match. So I unfortunately today just went 0-1 drop. I don't think it was the deck building's fault, or even the matchup. Like, I think that if this deck does not see Magic Rebo, I think I just win most of the time, because my tempo is just so much better than his without the Magic Rebo in hand. But he had it. And so we take the L today, but I'll be back maybe next week for the next showdown. So we'll just keep on trying. All right. Until next time, it's all Dank.